We love the event viewer, and wouldn't it be nice if we could get events sent to a central location from different systems that we want to monitor? That's exactly what we can do when we forward events inside a Microsoft network. Let's check it out in this nugget. Inside of our hands-on lab, you'll see the Client 1 NUG system, and you can log in as the power user into the domain. You'll notice in this hands-on lab, we have a domain controller that we can log into as well, of course. So we have this Active Directory domain environment, and I set it up for this hands-on lab because this is the common environment you would do event forwarding in. And let's go ahead and begin this process on the client. The client system, the Windows 10 system, is going to be sending events up to the server for analysis by our hypothetical admin team up there. So the first thing I need to do is launch an administrative command prompt. So I'm going to do my search for CMD, and then I'll choose to run it as an administrator, and I will provide administrator credentials for the domain. So we note that a domain administrator would be setting this up on the client workstation, most likely. Okay, so we come into this administrative command prompt, and we're going to do winrm quick config. And this magical command is going to start the Win remote management service for us. So we're going to say yes, and then it's going to punch a hole in the firewall to allow this functionality. So that's a quick little wizard, if you will, that we run on the client system that's going to enable the capabilities for this event forwarding. So we're about done on the client here that's going to be forwarding the events. There is one more thing we need to do, however, and that is give the remote server that's going to be collecting these events, we need to give it permissions to actually read the events. Here's how we're going to do this. We're going to do computer management, once again, running it as an administrator. Let me type in the administrator credentials for the domain. There we go. And inside of Computer Manager, we need to go to our local groups, and we need to add the remote system that's going to be doing the collecting to the event log readers local group. So I'm going to go in there, choose add. For object types, I'm going to make sure I'm including computers, and we're going to begin to type server nug and choose check names. There is server nug, and we have just added it to the event log readers local group. So that's it. Just a quick little command line wizard we executed, and then we took that remote machine and put it in the event log readers local group, and we are done here on the machine that will be forwarding its events. It's time to slide over to the server system that will be collecting those events. Over here on the server machine, we are going into Event Viewer. And the Event Viewer app is where we will set up what's called a subscription in order to get those remote events. Now, when you click on subscriptions initially, it says, hey, do you want to start this service every time the computer restarts, automatically starting it? It's the Windows Event Collector service. Yes, we sure do want that to be a common thing. And then we're going to right-click subscriptions, and we are going to create a subscription. I will call mine test because I'm creative like that. And notice that we're going to do a collector initiated type of subscription here. And we're going to select the computers that we are going to collect from. And let's do a check on the name client. And we should see Client 1 NUG. There we go. We say OK. It's a great idea to test connectivity right now. So there's a test button for that. We can see it succeeded. Great. We say OK. And then we indicate what it is we want to collect. So I'll say, oh, how about critical, warning, verbose, information, error? I want everything from all of the Windows logs. So you can set up the filtering that you want. You could even go in and filter based on certain keywords. And then I'm going to say, OK. And then I'm going to go into advanced. And here we're going to say that we want to minimize latency. So send me those events as quickly as possible. Notice we're going to do this over HTTP. It is possible to do this over a secured connection as well. So we'll make those settings on our subscription. We'll say OK, and we can see this subscription is currently active. Where would we go to see events from our Windows 10 machine out there on the network? Well, we would go to the server into the Windows logs, and we would go to the forwarded events category. And you should see one event in there already, basically indicating that this has been set up. Let's go out to the client now, and let's create an event to see if it is truly sent to the server system. We'll use PowerShell in order to create an event for testing. So I'll go up to Windows PowerShell, check out my options here, and run that as an administrator. And inside PowerShell, we're going to issue the following command. We are going to do an event create. The event is going to be with an ID of, how about 999? It is going to be a type of event called an error. And this will be in the log called application. And finally, we are going to have a description of error test. So let's hit carriage return and run this thing. And an event was just created in the application log. So we slide over to the server system. And if we refresh, there's got to be a refresh button somewhere on this. We should see that event come in from the remote system. Oh, and we just saw it. Did you see there's new events available? It was just, flashed up here. So let me do a refresh now. And there is the error that we created over on that client 1 NUG system. Now, this works great, and I'm glad that you saw this, but you may be wondering to yourself, well, man, I would need to set this up for all of my Windows 10 systems. And this was pretty easy, but it would take me quite a bit of time if I had to visit every single one of the Windows 10 clients out there and make these forwarding configurations. And remember, anytime we come up against something like this in a Microsoft environment, the answer is inevitably a group policy object. That's right. So in a domain environment, you would put all of the machines into, let's say, an organizational unit that you want to have this forwarding behavior, and then you would configure the forwarding in a group policy object and assign that to the organizational unit as a way to automate this config across all of those different systems. But it was very important for us to set this up just on one system and see the process kind of manually, if you will, so that you understand this forwarding process before you start automating its configuration across all those different systems. I hope this nugget was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.